Inside Building Products, a Siemens podcast that keeps you learning.
Hello, and welcome to The Deep Dive. Imagine you walk into a building, maybe it's your local cafe, or a bustling office block, or even a small boutique shop. Have you ever stopped and wondered about the sort of invisible symphony playing behind the scenes? How do the lights know when to dim? How does the heating keep it just right? Or the security cameras watch everything, all without someone constantly fiddling with controls? It feels incredibly complex, right? But what if I told you that making buildings smart, managing all those, intricate systems, could actually be simpler than you think, even if you're not exactly a tech wizard? Okay, let's unpack this a little. Today, we're diving into some really interesting material from Siemens Buildings Product Academy. We've got these video transcripts that introduce us to a couple of key pieces of tech, one called the Connect X200, and our main focus today, the Connect Box. Both are basically designed to bring the Internet of Things, or IoT, into our buildings, giving them a kind of brain, making them more connected, and crucially, much easier for you, the building owner or operator, to control.
That's right. And our mission for this deep dive really is to cut through all the technical jargon. We want to reveal the practical side of these innovations. We're going to explore what these devices actually are, why they're so important, especially now, and maybe most importantly, the real tangible benefits they bring you without needing, an engineering degree. We'll specifically focus in on how the Connect Box offers a really straightforward, quite powerful solution, especially for small to medium-sized buildings, helping them achieve that smart, efficient operation. It turns what seems daunting into something surprisingly manageable.
Okay, so let's start with the big why. Why bother with this? Imagine you own, say, a small office, maybe a couple of retail stores, or a restaurant. What are some of those headaches, the recurring things that, keep you up at night when it comes to just managing the place? Comfort, bills, it's a lot, isn't it? Especially with new rules popping up.
It is. And if we connect that to the bigger picture, the sources we looked at really highlight several universal challenges that building owners face. And this is exactly where something like the Connect Box comes in. First, there's just the basic struggle of gathering reliable information. Think about it. You've got heating, ventilation, maybe fire alarms, security cameras, lights. They're often completely separate systems, siloed. So how do you pull data from all of them and actually make sense of it easily and affordably and, in real time? Without becoming a full-time IT manager yourself, it often leads to just reacting to problems.
Right, you're just putting out fires, basically.
Exactly. Then there are the operational costs, always a big one. Everyone wants to minimize expenses, right? Energy consumption, that can be a huge chunk of your budget. Maintenance, maybe staffing. Without having integrated insights, it's incredibly hard to spot where the waste is or how to optimize things. And what about managing your building when you're not actually there? Being able to monitor things, maybe diagnose an issue, or even tweak settings remotely, that's not really a luxury anymore. It's becoming essential. Mm-hmm. And finally, there's the growing burden of regulatory compliance. Things like the European Building Directive, the EPBD, now demand detailed reports on energy efficiency, consumption. For a lot of small to medium buildings, just gathering that precise data and meeting those demands, it can feel like navigating a maze, both legally and technically.
Wow, yeah. It sounds like a perfect storm, really.
Mm-hmm.
Complexity, costs going up, compliance headaches.
Yeah.
All rolled into one. So the real aha moment here, the insight, is that these devices aren't just adding more tech complexity. They're actually designed to simplify that whole tangled web. They turn these separate, expensive problems into something much more manageable, more transparent, empowering you to run your building effectively without needing that engineering background. So this brings us right to the star of our deep dive, the Connect Box. I kind of like thinking of it as a central brain, or maybe a universal translator for all the different bits in your building. Its main job is to take all those different languages your devices speak, the heating system talks one way, a light sensor another, and translate them into one single understandable stream of data. Data you can then actually access and use. Now, we also heard about the Connect X200. Does that fit in? Is it different?
Yeah, it plays a similar role, but it's distinct. So think of the Connect Box as the all-in-one solution, really built for broad simplicity across lots of different systems, especially in those smaller to medium buildings. The Connect X200, on the other hand, is geared more toward, let's say, deeper, more specialized integration with specific, often more complex Siemens systems, like advanced comfort controls or comprehensive fire safety systems. The FS20 fire alarm system is a good example. Those devices channel their very specific data into what's called the Building X Cloud, feeding specialized apps like Operations Manager or Energy Manager or the Cerberus portal for fire safety. It's more about focused management for those specific areas.
Okay, got it. So ConnectBox is more the generalist, the all-rounder, for bringing lots of things together simply.
Exactly. What's really key about the ConnectBox is how it's described. An all-in-one IoT solution, specifically tailored for those small to medium-sized buildings. Its core job is to dramatically simplify that whole process, connecting and monitoring your building's infrastructure. Picture it acting like the essential bridge. It pulls data from the physical systems, how warm it is, if a window's open, the air quality, maybe even how many people are in a room, and it makes all that data readily available in the cloud for you to access, analyze, and act on. This transforms those previously isolated systems into one cohesive, smart network. It lets everything kind of talk to each other, giving you that complete picture and control.
Okay, so if it's all about simplicity, how does it actually deliver on that? Because let's be honest, simple and building management tech don't always feel like they belong in the same sentence. What are the standout things that make this genuinely easy for someone, who doesn't have an IT department on call?
That's a really important question. And the sources give us some incredibly clear answers here. One of the absolute biggest hurdles for connecting any device to the internet, especially in a business setting, is often the IT setup itself. You're talking about dealing with networks, firewalls, IP addresses, needing an IT admin to configure everything securely. It can be a nightmare.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
The ConnectBox completely sidesteps that. It comes with integrated 4G cellular connectivity built right in and a pre-installed SIM card. Just like your smartphone, you literally just plug it into a power outlet and bang, it's connected to the cloud. It completely bypasses the need for any local IP help or tricky network configuration. That's not just convenient, it's frankly a game changer for getting things up and running quickly.
Wow, okay. That alone sounds huge.
It is. And secondly, it's described as a protocol powerhouse. Now, what does that mean? Well, imagine your building has devices from different manufacturers, some old, some new. Each might speak a different digital language or protocol. Getting them all to communicate used to require complex, often really expensive integration work. The ConnectBox, though, supports an impressive 11 different communication protocols.
11? Okay.
Yeah, quite a few. These include the common wired standards you find in buildings like BACnet, Modbus, KNX, MBUs. You often see those in HVK, lighting, or utility meters. But crucially, it also supports advanced wireless protocols like LoRaWAN.
LoRaWAN. What's that good for?
LoRaWAN is really interesting. It's a widely adopted wireless technology, perfect for connecting lots of battery-powered sensors over pretty long distances. Think about monitoring temperature, humidity, or maybe even occupancy across a large shop floor or office space without needing to run a single wire. It's ideal for that kind of discrete, widespread sensing. So this breadth of protocol support means it can basically integrate almost anything your building has now or might have in the future, all under one roof, digitally speaking.
That sounds like a massive step forward in just ease of use. No more wrestling with the IT foes to open up ports on the network or stressing if your shiny new smart sensor will even talk to your 10-year-old thermostat.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned the sources talk about really fast installation, like hours, not days or weeks. That sounds almost too good to be true for anyone who's dealt with tech rollouts.
It does sound good, but yeah, the materials really emphasize minimal technical effort. They talk about installation in less than a day, sometimes even just a few hours. And what's more, it's essentially plug and play for a constantly growing library. Over 500 field devices are mentioned. That includes Siemens' own stuff, but also a wide range of devices from other companies, third parties.
Plug and play. So you don't need specialist programming skills.
Exactly. You basically select the type of device from a simple drop-down menu in the cloud software, punch in its serial number, and boom, it's connected. And crucially, this is important, all its data is automatically normalized. That means it's put into a consistent, understandable format no matter where it came from. Then it's immediately uploaded.
Normalized, right. So you're not comparing apples and oranges like Celsius from one sensor and Fahrenheit from another.
Precisely. Or one sensor gives a percentage, another gives a voltage reading. Normalization ensures all the data shows up on your dashboard in a uniform, actionable way. It actually makes sense of it all without you needing a calculator or a conversion chart. No headaches.
Okay, this is starting to paint a much clearer picture. So we've talked about the how, the 4G, the protocols, the easy setup. Now let's connect that to the real-world advantages. What does this actually mean for you, the person running the building? Beyond just making things easier, what's the direct impact on the bottom line on daily operations?
Right, the tangible benefits. And they are pretty compelling. First off, significant cost reductions. Because the installation is so simple, doesn't need highly specialized, expensive technicians, you're looking at lower upfront investment costs. That's a big win straight away. But also, by proactively monitoring your systems, spotting inefficiencies, maybe a heater running when it shouldn't be, or lights left on in empty rooms, you can really cut down ongoing operational expenses, especially energy bills.
No, exactly.
Instead of waiting for something to break down completely and calling out an expensive specialist, you or your operator can monitor system health remotely. Spot minor issues before they become big, costly failures. It shifts things from reactive, costly maintenance to more proactive, predictive management that can cut service calls and downtime significantly. And the sources mention a flexible, usage-based payment model, too, which adds financial agility. You only pay for what you actually need and use.
Okay, cost saving is huge. What else?
Second, you gain really powerful remote control and monitoring capabilities. It puts you in charge wherever you are. The Connect box gives you access to this unified, quite intuitive dashboard or console. You can get to it from any web browser on your laptop, tablet, phone. This means you can configure settings, operate systems, generate detailed reports for your building from literally anywhere in the world. Imagine getting an instant an alarm on your phone if something crosses a limit you set, maybe a sudden temperature spike in a server room or humidity changing unexpectedly, or even air quality dipping.
That's real peace of mind.
It is. You can view detailed data, both historical and real-time. Visualize trends over time with dynamic graphs. Export comprehensive reports for analysis or, importantly, for compliance purposes. This level of oversight used to be only for huge corporations.
Right. And you mentioned compliance.
Yes, third point. It directly simplifies and streamlines regulatory compliance. The Connect box provides that transparency, that precise data collection you need for things like energy efficiency, reporting those EPBD requirements we talked about. It also helps monitor crucial things like indoor air quality. The sources specifically mention a new indoor air quality multi-sensor. It integrates seamlessly using either BACnet IP or that LoRaWAN wireless protocol we discussed. So you get immediate insights into CO2 levels, humidity, temperature, ensuring a healthy, compliant environment for occupants or customers.
That's becoming increasingly important, isn't it? Air quality.
Absolutely. And fourth, a really key point in today's world, you retain full and complete control over your data. In a world where data is often treated like a commodity, the Connect box ensures your building's operational data, everything from energy use to occupancy patterns, remains exclusively yours. You own that data in the cloud. You can share it if you want. Maybe integrate it into your own business tools using APIs.
APIs.
Yeah.
Those are like secure digital doorways for software to talk, right?
Exactly right. Secure doorways. So you could pull data into your own analytics, for example, or you can just keep it secure. The point is, it's your data. You decide. This isn't just a technical feature, it's a strategic advantage. You can leverage your unique data for insights or ensure compliance without sharing sensitive operational details unless you explicitly choose to.
That's incredibly important. And it's not just about staying within the Siemens world either, is it? You said it's an open system. That feels crucial if you're investing long term.
Precisely. That's a fundamental point. It is not proprietary. The Connect box supports open industry standard protocols, which means practically it allows for seamless integration of devices from many different manufacturers, not just Siemens. This gives you freedom of choice. It protects any existing investments you might have in other equipment. You're not locked into one brand or one tech ecosystem.
Okay, that's good to hear. Future-proofing.
Exactly. And speaking of future-proofing, it automatically receives secure firmware updates over the air using its built-in 4G SIM card. So your system always gets the latest features, security patches, performance improvements without you having to do anything manually. Plus, that connection is end-to-end encrypted from the device in your building right to the cloud. So you get peace of mind about the security of your critical building data too.
Okay, this sounds incredibly versatile. So is it really just for, like, small businesses with a couple of sensors? Or can it genuinely scale up? Can one Connect box handle a decent-sized building, or do you need loads of them?
No, it's designed with scalability very much in mind. The sources give good examples here. They show its flexibility, covering everything from a very small retail shop or maybe a bank branch, perhaps just using a few wireless sensors for air quality or checking if rooms are occupied, all the way up to a larger, maybe multi-floor office building, one with a much greater number of sensors, using different protocols, managing more complex HVAC or lighting systems. It really adapts to what the customer actually needs. And they offer different license sizes, so you can kind of tailor the functionality and capacity across the applications you care about. You're not paying for stuff you don't need.
Right, so it grows with you, potentially.
Exactly. And what's more, for people managing multiple sites, think about a chain of shops or several bank branches or maybe a property company with different office locations. The same intuitive cloud console lets you oversee all your connected locations from one single screen.
Oh, interesting. So one login, see everything.
Pretty much. Whether you have one tiny shop or a whole network of buildings spread across a city or even the country, everything comes together in that single, accessible interface. It's really about bringing that transparency and control right down to the device level, but across all your buildings, giving you that truly unified view of your whole portfolio.
What an incredibly eye-opening deep dive. We've really sort of peeled back the layers today, haven't we? We've seen how this Siemens Connect box genuinely demystifies what seems like really complex building management. It turns those challenges, costs, complexity, compliance, into actual opportunities. Opportunities for efficiency, for cost savings, for having that powerful remote control. It really is all about making your building systems understandable and, more importantly, actionable, even if you don't have that technical background.
Indeed. And this whole conversation really raises an important question, I think. With technology like the Connect box, making smart building management so much more accessible, so straightforward for pretty much everyone, how might our basic expectations change? Our expectations for building performance, for energy efficiency, for how comfortable a space should feel. How might those evolve in the next few years? What new possibilities really open up when all that complex building data becomes simple, actionable insights that empower every single building owner and operator out there?
That's a really powerful thought to end on. Something for all of us to maybe mull over as we look at the buildings around us day to day. What parts of your own environment could benefit from this kind of smart oversight? And what cool new innovations might this simplicity unlock next? Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.